In today's video, it's all about Jerusalem Artichoke. Jerusalem Artichoke, otherwise well known as sunchoke or sunroot or even up to Earth's apple, is a cool root vegetable that I have been wanting to grow for multiple years now. Ever since I saw my good friend Kaye Kittrell over at the Late Bloomer Garden Show make a video on Jerusalem Artichoke, I was intrigued. Now, I've been watching Kaye's video ever since I started my gardening career here on YouTube, and she has been a huge inspiration to me. So Kaye, if you're watching this video, thank you for all the good information you have shared and given to me throughout these past few years. When Jerusalem Artichoke gets to a certain maturity, it produces sunflower-like flowers that are just breathtaking. I've been looking for a source to get sunchoke from until I went onto Etsy and I bought some, and it wasn't that expensive, so I got it in I believe the ending of last week. And so let me go ahead and open this up. And just like expected, they arrived in a Ziploc bag. Since sunchoke is a root crop, in other words, or a root vegetable, it needs to be planted in aerated soil, because if you plant it in compacted soil, it will limit the growth of the roots. And since what we're really harvesting, or what we really want to eat at the end of the day, is the roots, we would need to make sure that we are providing them aerated soil. Now, if you want to take an extra step in making sure your soil is aerated, you can always add perlite, vermiculite. Any of those two will help aerate your soil. So here in southern Florida, our soil is hydrophobic, very sandy, very rocky as well, and it also tends to carry critters that are not favorable for root crops. I will be planting my Jerusalem Artichoke in this circular Birdies Raise Bed garden that was sent out to me from the shop Epic Gardening. Make sure you use my discount code, The Ultimate Gardener, for an extra 5% off on your entire order. So I will be planting all 12 of these because I want to have a great outcome or a great yield when I harvest them. So they sent me 12 pieces, so all 12 pieces will be scattered evenly around this raised bed. So now I scattered them around evenly, and now I'm gonna go ahead and plant them. So I'm gonna be planting them about an inch or two downwards. And keep in mind, I did not fill the raised bed fully to the top because I will be adding a little bit of a top layer, which I'll explain in a little bit. So let me go ahead and plant these. So this is an optional step. You don't have to, but I will, since I will be having some colder temps coming through. However, I harvested some carrots not that long ago, so I will be using this as a top dress. Since it's light, it'll be easily, so the roots will be able to shoot their shoots upwards easily, and it's organic matter, so it will feed them. So now you want to make sure you give them a good soak of water. So I went ahead and I watered the Jerusalem Artichoke. So now it's time for a little quick information behind growing Jerusalem Artichoke. So Jerusalem Artichoke, as you all know, is a root crop. And so if you have a rat issue, I would definitely stay vigilant on where you keep these, because believe it or not, Jerusalem Artichokes are kind of something rats go afterwards. And so if you have a rat issue, or you know that you have rats in your garden, I would stay vigilant on where you place these. Because you never know, who knows, maybe you'll wake up one morning with holes and you'll see your Jerusalem Artichoke disappear. So definitely keep an eye on that. Number 2 is where you are planting them, meaning the location. Try to make sure that the location where the Jerusalem Artichoke is planted is in an area that receives at least 5 to 6 plus hours of direct sunlight, because these are full sun loving plants. They need the sun to go through photosynthesis, create glucose, and yada yada yada. So make sure you're giving them the proper amount of sunlight, because if not, it might compromise their growth, it might compromise how much roots they produce. So try to give them as much sunlight as you can. Now, coming at number 3 is their watering schedule. Since we're dealing with the root crop, they are quite sensitive to how much water you give them. You can't give them too little, or you will dry out the plants, dry out the roots, and then you're done for. But you can't also give them too much, because then you may rot the roots and there goes your plant. So you want to make sure you give them just the right amount of water, which if you're living in an area that is known to be dry or very deserty, then I would recommend watering at least 2 to 3 times per week to maintain that soil moist but not soaking wet. If you live in a tropical, subtropical climate like I do, we don't have to worry about watering because our area or our growing space tends to maintain humid, or we expect constant rainfall weekly or even up to daily. So we don't have to worry so much about watering. The only thing I'd probably recommend is to stay vigilant on how dry your soil tends to be. If it's starting to be very, very dry, then give it a good drink of water. But if it's already moist, don't even bother, because then at that point you'll be putting your soil to the muddy stage, and you don't want that to get to that point. Our fourth and final point is about feeding. Root crops tend to be heavy feeders, so make sure you give them an ample amount of nutrients, especially since they're growing in a raised bed. You're controlling what they're receiving. They're not going off of what the nature or what the soil or the nutrients that are in the soil, they're not going off of that. They're going off of what you provide them. So I would definitely recommend mixing in a biostarter fertilizer when you are planting them, and then later on feeding them later on with a more stronger fertilizer. Use whatever you have on hand, but I would always recommend using organic stuff, whether that be earthworm castings, earthworm casting tea, or even organic compost. Those are all great things that you could use in the garden. It's technically like black gold almost for plants, and so that's the best thing, and that's the only thing I would highly recommend for you to grow when it comes to growing your own food. But use whatever you have on hand or have experience with using. So that's gonna be it for this video, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to support us. We only do food forestry. We only showcase videos that are educational about growing your own food. So make sure you subscribe to support us. Make sure you like this video if you found it interesting or informative, and hopefully it inspired you to grow your very own Jerusalem artichoke as well. I will definitely be giving you guys updates on how this grows through my Instagram and TikTok. Hopefully it stays with us. All that information that you need will be once again in the description box below. And feel free to leave me any comments on any videos you'd like to see, or if you grew Jerusalem artichoke and you would like to share your experience, hey, I'm all for it. So make sure you leave a comment down below on what you thought on this video or any experience you had with Jerusalem artichoke as well. Once again, a huge shout out to my friend Kaye Kittrell over there at the Late Bloomer Garden Show. I'll be leaving her information as well in the description box below. Go follow her if you aren't already, and go watch her very cool videos. They're very informative, and especially if you're a beginner gardener, they're just the videos for you. I will most definitely be leaving her Jerusalem artichoke video in the description box for you all to see as well, so you guys can kind of see how her journey went with this particular plant. So thank you all so much for watching. May God bless you and your entire family, and never forget to grow big, ultimate gardeners. Bye everyone.